finish this video the best way that I could. Today, I want to talk about opiates and pain medication, which seem to be an issue. I have been saying for 3 decades because I was diagnosed with first it was fibromyalgia, which they didn't really explain. I went to several doctors over the years in the early 90s. Uh, to talk about it, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. They just said, oh, my hip was giving out. I mean, just walking down the street, my hip would just give out. And I said, okay. They had me on Flexerol, Flexidin, and other medications I wasn't familiar with. My body did not respond. It did not like it. It actually made me really volatile ill. And also at the time I was pregnant. I was pregnant with twins. So I didn't know any better, was not really educated in that part. Um, I'm sorry. As you can see, we are live. Um, didn't see that, so I will be calling back uh, for someone. So that's what happened. I became live. Uh, of not understanding, or livid, I should say. I became very livid, not knowing the effect that would have on my child when I came back and was put on this and told I had fibromyalgia. My hip was just giving out and no explanation. And that was it. And you take this Flexerol and this is get better. And it didn't get better. But I was a very active person. I like to walk 3 or 4 miles, always was doing that. They had checked everything and couldn't find anything. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's psychological and I need to figure out something else what to do. So I was like, okay, no problem, girl, do what you do. So for years I went on and just worked. I was a nurse. I worked at Georgetown Hospital, and then I work at Diagnostic Quest. So these are not jobs that are just easily and let anybody in. So I really had to be on my feet. I really had to be working. And slowly but surely, my work performance was really suffering me. I would do my rounds, but my feet were like skidding. Like I would walk like I was sliding at the end of my shift, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. So my supervisor said to me, you have to go and see your doctor, and you cannot come in until your doctor approves your health. So my doctor looked me over, said he was going to do some blood work, sent me back to work, and said he was working on it to give me a little bit more time to work as a nurse in Doylestown Hospital. I did the night shift, and I worked at Diagnostic Quest, and then my blood results came back. So did that, cover that up, and they said I had rheumatoid arthritis. And then he said, well, it looks like when your doctor diagnosed you in the 90s with after the hip incident, it's circuit. Never explained it, just had a whole physiological of tests done, didn't understand what was going on, didn't ask questions, was not informed, just like, okay, you get this, and I just followed along. Okay, well, then I just figured this is my life. I'm just going to always be walking slow at 20 something years old, a mother, and my life was not going to be active. So that's how I proceed to live life. But then he came and said, no, you have rheumatoid arthritis. This is what we're going to do. We going to figure out what we can do. So then he sent me to a specialist that was what was called a rheumatologist. The first time I ever seen a rheumatologist. So rheumatologists worked with me, and we tried experimental medicine from Enbrel to methotrexate, Vicodin, oxycodone, morphine, you name it. They tried it on. And I said, these medicine, for the first time putting them on, except for the Enbrel, are making me sick. And it's not right. And I was with my mother at the time, and I was sitting down on the couch, and I said, Mom, I got to take this pain pill. Don't know the effect. Didn't bother to look or even think. It was like, they're doctors, so they're not going to get me wrong. That was where my trust was at the time. So my mother was like, okay, you're going to take this. I was like, yeah, it's going to, I'm thinking this is going to get me better because my doctor wrote a note. And if I be on this medicine for a week, I'm going to go back to work. That was my thought. Like, I love being a nurse. I love going to diagnostic quest. I love what I did. It was helping people, talking to people, and just that interaction. I love that. So it was like, okay, didn't like the doctors, but you know, that's just what it was. So I took it and I sat down and I was on the couch, and my mother said I literally looked like a zombie. I mean, when I took the medication and not even 5 minutes, I just plopped on the couch, not sat down, but I mean, my body fell onto the couch in that position. And my mother was trying to shake me. And it took about 4 hours for it to wear off. My mother was totally scared. So it was like, okay, I didn't know what it was. And I called my doctor up, said, look, this is what's going on. I'm not taking this, not taking this, not taking this. And then I started looking up information that these drugs actually become addiction. And that all comes from the Young and the Restless, watching where Nikki, you know, if you guys don't know about Nikki Abbott, or Nikki Newman, whatever she was back in the time, was addicted to pain medication. So that was like a big eye opener. So I started doing researches, and they were like, no, you know, she's on, you know, that's something different. Miss D'Angelo, you need to take this, blah, 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 blah. And I was not having it. So I refused to take this medication. And I just said, something is not right. So when I came back, I had to see my specialist, my rheumatologist specialist, because as far as they're concerned, I have lupus, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and osteoarthritis. Now, I am not your average patient. I'm very hypersensitive. My pain levels are not normal. They're off the charts. When I walked in my doctor's office the first time, his first response is, you should have been in a wheelchair when you first seen me. And I was not. I refused to live that life because I had young children. And at the time, I was not mother of one or two. I was a mother of three, raising someone else's child. And that's another story. And I had a teenage niece that I was raising. She was 16, and you know, you got to be on your fly. You cannot be out of your mind element. And also had the burden of helping a parent out of a situation that was living with me as well. So it was like, I'm the breadwinner. I do this. I have to. And that's how my life was. So I didn't have time. But when you're in pain, which I didn't realize, your brain function is constantly going, and it's not functioning like it normally should. It's basically, your brain is actually really, what did she said? A healthy brain. And, you know, these are the pictures. This is a healthy brain. And you can see like the activities, like it's constantly being worked in neurons and misfire and stuff that you don't function well. A healthy brain. It's working very well. Sorry. This is the chronic brain in pain. And you see these little red spots. These are where the misfiring. And it's like you can't think, you can't function. So, and basically it doesn't help you get your activities. You become, instead of you working at a optimum level, you're really not working at an optimum level. You're working at a disadvantage of the way you think, the way you talk, the way you actually have activities. It's more about you and about getting that feeling, or some people say. But when you have responsibilities, you can't even be about yourself. As a mother, you've got to take on a role. And if you have other responsibilities, your brain is pushed to another matter. But so what they do is they give you these opiates. And these are, you know, some of the things that we were talking about. You know, if you don't want to be on opioids, morphine, oxycodone, oxydon, what else is there? Other medications, and some of the things that they cause. You know, I wrote them down because I was like, I went into this thing because I told my doctor I refuse to be on medication. I refuse to take any pain medication. I don't care how bad it is or how my blood work is and how my x-rays look. I'm going to do all natural, so you're gonna have to find something else for me. I went in my doctor's office and told her, this is what I want. And she says, well, we have something called pain management. I said, and I mean, I don't want you to give me any drugs. So, I mean, there's no drugs. We're not doing that. We're going to find a natural way, because the body can actually repair itself. Even though my body is stronger and healthier it was 3 years ago, it's still a progress in work. My body didn't overnight get like this. This is like I said, been years and years, as you can say, like 30 something years of people not tuning in and listening and finding out what the cause of my problem was, that my body had to react the best way that it can. But when they give you drugs, and I said, you know what? I don't like that outer body experience. Now, everybody said, you're not going to have the same experience. And my thing is, I don't like to be addicted to anything. If I have an addiction, I want it gone. So to me, if my life revolves around that medication, or revolves around that, that cause, then that's not good. Meaning cause, meaning my pain. If I'm thinking 24 hours that I'm in pain and I have nothing and I need to get this pill in my body, and if I don't, I'm going to Jones. That's the fear that was in here. Why I didn't want it. I'm like, oh, well, it's going to affect my eyes. It's going to affect my heart. It's going to affect my body. And I had been put on steroids at that time when I first got diagnosed, for a long time. So my face is puffy, as you can see. I was on methotrexate for about 20 something years. And what they don't tell you, methotrexate is a natural abortion medication that they gave women back in the day for an abortion. Woohoo! And I'm young and I was at childbearing age. So a lot of stuff that was given was a lot harmful to my body as we experiment, because they don't know. Thank you very much. So those didn't work for me. So let's talk about the opiates. Opiates basically can make people hypersensitive to pain after taking them for a while, which is that instead of it getting better, it gets worse. And this is done in a short studies. They found that some clients, when they give them, like, say about 10 people, they did in a 4-month span, which I was explaining in a 1-month span, that when they seen the people for a short span and they rate their pain from 1 to 10, and if they were at a 10 or a 7, that they only upped 1 or none for a short period, and for a long period of time they got worse. Their thing of pain, if they were at a 10 or they were at a 0, they were even worse, because their body became dependent, their body became sensitive. They were even telling me, listening, your body, like I said, becomes sensitive. It can become an addiction. It also can give you hormones unbalance. It makes you physically withdrawal. It has birth defects. It also causes death. And not death that you overdose if you take a cough medicine, if medication over the counter, it basically mixed with this can actually kill you and cause what they call an overdose. Not like, overdose like, oh, well, they overdosed and tried to kill themselves, but an overdose by accident of mixing different medicine, like some of the sleep aids, some of these other steroids and things to help you when you're taking them with these opiates. They actually have a worse effect on your body, which did not sit very well with me. Some people actually, because they're taking it, they tell you to take it every 3 hours. See, I have a problem with that. I did not follow their guidelines when they gave it to me. I only took it once, and it was at night. And that bothered them. And when I had that experience, I'm glad I did, because I waited until got my activities done, my children cooked. Spirit is so good. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Took the medication, and that's when I had the reaction of like just plopping down on the couch. That one pill, that one time. So imagine someone taking that pill like they're told every 3 to 4 hours all day. Well, when it's taken every 3 to 4 hours every day, your body starts becoming building a resistance to it. So you actually got to go through a withdrawal. So they go back to the doctors, and the doctor write a prescription and increase it. Doctor write a prescription and increase it, and then increase it, and then increase it. And not, like, wow, they're not getting this pain or trying to think. But when you're on it, it also suppresses your immune system. And what you wind up with, what you think is treating, you're having more problems. Okay. Some people have drug reactions to the medication where they stop breathing. Some people have a drug reaction where it takes their sight. Some people have a drug reaction where the hair is falling out. Some people have a drug reaction where they're hallucinating. Some people have a drug reaction where they're paralyzed. And it's paralyzed psychologically because their brain is not functioning. These are some of the things that can happen when you're taking these opioids. So I'm a big fan of trying alternatives. So, people are like, well, you're in pain. Like, what do you do? Well, there's other things that you can do, which I like. All depends on what your pain is. You can see a chiropractor, which we're told about. You can have a nerve stimulation where these electronics are put on, like when you go for a back or thing, they put these little tabs on, and it shocks the nerves. That is an alternative. Electrical shock, which not the electrical shock like your brain thing that they talk about that scare you, but these are little nerve things, and it shoots your body, and they have that treatment. They also have acupuncture, which is another thing. There's acupressure, which is another thing. There's Reiki treatment, which is another thing. There's pranic energy. That's another thing. There is quantum physics healing. That's another thing. These are alternatives that I'm giving you that you can try. There is physical therapy, aqua therapy, which is very good, using the water and swimming and building up a resistance. There's yoga. There's Pilates. There's Qigong. There's Tai Chi. These are a lot of activities that you can use to help the body. There's crystal therapy. There's chakra therapy. There's color vibrational therapy. These are other things that are on the cusp, but are considered holistic alternative medicine that's out there. There's also psychological therapy that you can go to and talk about your situation while you're in pain and get you out. And they're doing psychological studies to figure out your pain and how you can help yourself. So when I say there's other things, there's herbs, there's essential oils. There's certain oils that can actually help her. Camphor and winter mint are great pain relieving oils that you can mix together. But I mix other stuff together, as you know, that get rid of some pains. And peppermint. Peppermint actually opens the wave for wherever the pain is. And the camphor and the winter mint, they proceeds to go in and actually become soothing and take away pain. That's in some people. Like I said, all the things that I said or I'm mentioning are not going to work for people. And then some of them are. You got inflammation, you got turmeric. You got inflammation, you can take willow bark, or you got pain, it's willow bark. You can take that. There's so many different things that you can take. Excuse me for rubbing my nose. For pain that you'd be so surprised. You got Antarctica, which is spelled Arnica, Arnica, Antarctica. Okay, there's other things that you can do for pain, and people are like, you know what? You really don't understand, honey. No one knows better than I about pain. Okay. When I went to my doctors, I should have been. I was supposed to be hospitalized. That's how much pain my body was directing. I have a low blood pressure. How you can tell I am in pain is by my movement, meaning my body does not act very well to pain. When I'm in pain, that means it's off the charts, and I should be hospitalized. So when I feel it pain, I'll say, oh, well, it's just nagging pain. It's okay. No. When they do my blood work or do a CAT scan or MRI, they find that it is off the charts. So like I said, do not base your body on my body type, because you can't. If you're a person that just tolerates pain, and this might have been basically because I refused to give up and my body just became very high tolerance to pain as a mechanism that now that it's so off the chart that they can't measure it. So that could be a cause. You also have capucha oil that I've tried and I like. I wrote these down. Um, what other things? I said Antarctica. You have capucha oil, black coche, which we talked about last week. I told you about peppermint oil. I told you about winter mint oil. You got your ginger. You got your eucalyptus. You got elderberry. You got capsins, which they use now, and the these little things, and these little tiger balm oil that a tiger balm that you buy in a pack, and it's not the best. You can get these at Walmart, Target, any drugstore. I think it's becoming now, or Sprouts or Whole Foods. They have them in there. For me, basically, I like Meadow Sweet, and my other one is mullein flower oil that I make, which is very good. Um, my other favorite one is kava kava. Another one that is a nerve that I'll do is lavender, chamomile, and valerian. So I make brownies with that for people that have your nerves, because it relaxes the nerves, and I make a brownie with it. So it soothes the nerves, it heals the nerves and heals the body, but also it's calming. Some people use cannabis. That's them. I'm not a cannabis person. Hats off to you if that's what you think, but that's just not my thing. I don't bake with it. I don't use it, but I know there's some pretty outstanding studies with that. That is just not where my passion lies. My passion lies with other alternatives, things that are legal for us to use, that you're not going to run into controversy, just like people with these drugs, opiates, to become drug addicts, that they're actually selling drugs or selling their body on the corner and all this stuff. I want to think of another alternative way that is legal for us to go about helping our body start healing, especially when you're dealing with the bones and the joints. They start to deteriorate. When they start to deteriorate, you're like, you got your comfrey root. So the comfrey root is actually going to help you. So that's what I like as well. And it starts actually knitting the bone. And you have to be careful with any of the drugs or anything that you do, because if you do not do it in moderation, you can harm yourself, and do some of them you can overdose. Like if you take the kava kava for a long period of time, you can actually harm your kidney. Now, some people have taken kava kava all their life, and that's because that's in their culture. Just like the Viagra, you're finding out there actually people are having problems, and it's caused deaths, and some men are having hard-ons for hours or whatever, but that's because they're not culturally supposed to actually take that. Okay, so I hate to tell you, like, some things are just not made for you to take. Okay, if you do it in moderation or not at all. If you find that that's going to be a cause, but you're finding out the things that the FDA approved are having a backlash on clients. And then the thing is that the FDA, this is my personal opinion, FDA have pushed some other stuff through that should not been pushed through. Okay, should not, and they have. So I'm vocal about what I say. I'm vocal about what I do. I'm out here in the forefront and just letting you know there's other alternatives. From massage therapy, which is very good. There's Lomi Lomi, there's Shatsu, there is the gentle massage, there's adrenal gland, what is it? Adrenal drainage massage, which is very good, where it drains your adrenal and it actually helps. I was in Hawaii, like I said, I just had a phenomenal team. I had a great massage therapist. Her name was Autumn. I had a great physical therapist named Stephanie, and then I had an acupuncturist named Tom. They were the bomb. That was my therapy. And when I do something, I do it intense. I'm not one of those people to go, oh, well, I'm going to go once a week. I went 3 days a week. If I could have went 5 days a week, I would have went. But the fact is, like, they were saying, you have to give your body for the tissue to break down and actually heal. You have to give your body time to rest. I'm one of those hypersensitive people, or not hypersensitive to the fact that I know what I want in my mind, but what I should be saying, I am hyper. I'm do something when I'm doing something, I'm doing 3 or 4 times. So my mind is racing, and it's not because, oh, well, I want to do this. Is I'm doing this, I'm reading, I'm writing, I'm calculating, and that's how my brain is function. I had hyperactivity as a kid. That is how I thrive. And I thought everybody thought like that or worked like that. And I'm learning not everybody functions like that. And it's all been, and I've been on a special diet as well. So this is a point of working very well for me. So I know this is usually a problem. My camera just really goes, as you can see, I'm plugging my camera in. So I will be back in a splash so that you know that I am here, so that we will not be off camera again. So I wanted to talk about what is Tai Chi, what is uh, Qigong, and then there's other things like if you can't afford Qigong, if you can't afford Tai Chi, these are martial arts that actually heals the body, and it actually helps the body start relaxing. And there was Chai Kung that forms, and it actually starts in a chair, and these actually relieves the body of the stress and start stretching the body. So also stretching is very good for the body. So you want to go to your local person that you could possibly get for Tai Chi, Qigong. There's Qigong masters, there are Qigong classes, there's Tai Chi classes in the park, and there's also Falun Dafa, which is spelled Falun Dafa, DAFA org.org. Go there, find your local chapter, my nose, local chapter there, and join. There's a local chapter and everywhere. A lot of the times there are college students getting together and going in the park and doing that. I know in Tempe and Quiza Park, they do it on Saturday at 8 o'clock, and you guys look around. But if when you go in the park, what you're also going to see is a lot of people doing Tai Chi, which is really nice at the all around the lake. You'll see all of this, and these are different classes that you can join. So they do that, but also they have classes like in Bloomfield, New Jersey, at the YMCA. You can take Falun Dafa there at the YMCA if you're a member. So if you're not a member, you pay a little fee to get in, or you sign up to get a membership card, and you actually can do Falun Dafa in Bloomfield or Montclair on Bloomfield Avenue. Sorry, Bloomfield Avenue and Montclair. It was done. And it's done, it's ran by a doctor. He's like very awesome. You come early in the morning. He starts his at 7 o'clock in the morning. There's another one in Newark, New Jersey that you would go to Sung Lee's house. You have to be invited, and she invites you in, and you do the exercises with her on Saturday morning around about 8:30, which is another form of healing, which is really good. It's also healing the body and different organs in your body. So you're tapping into that energy that actually helps. Reiki basically and laying of hands actually do work. That's people sending you energy, actually you tapping into waking up. Same thing with prana. The energies within your sea, the chi as they call it, the energy is chi, CHI or QI is for you to tap in for your body to start healing. So that's something that you can look up and find out where Tai Chi's things. Look at your wellness center. Just put it in Google and you'll find out who's local in your area, and that's where you can find them. Now, your massage person, you want to check them out thoroughly and figure out who does good massages and what they can do. Lymphatic massage. That's what I was trying to say, not adrenal massage. Lymphatic massage, sorry. Lymphatic massages are really good and they get the points. And then you got reflexology. Reflexology points to different points and actually starts healing on your body. So you got that. So what else? Reflexology. I talk about that. You can find a reflexologist. There's massage schools. There's different places that you can do. And acupuncture, you can look up local acupuncturists. You also can find Chinese medicine. And sometimes with them, you can also find a herbalist right there and an acupuncturist. If it's a Chinese acupuncturist, they tend to have that together. When I went to my acupuncturist, that was in Surprise, Arizona, which was really wonderful. She actually had tea ceremony, explain the teas, and it's had herbs there as well as doing acupuncture. And there are different forms of acupuncture. There's Japanese mixture, and then there's Chinese mixture, and then there's other mix in between. Then there's acupressure points where you're actually putting on your meridians, and these are where the acupuncturists are actually putting needles, but instead someone's actually pressing and releasing some of that energy that's built up. And basically, when we're in pain, the energy is trapped in a certain point and causes inflammation. So you get relief. So you have that. So for chronic pain, back pain. So that's another avenue that you might want to see. I know the lady that's on Bell Road in Surprise has a Chinese acupuncture shop right there. So I'm giving you all the things that I know of where I've been. I know in Hawaii, there's an acupuncturist, like I said, there on the Big Island in Kona. There's also a physical therapist there in Kona that works in there as well. Her name is Stephanie, awesome person, and it's actually in a gym. So you're getting to use the gym facility and the pool and with her, and you work in and you work at a team. She is amazing. So I love Stephanie. She was like so good for me. Also love Autumn, my massage therapist, and was very helpful. And she also sells supplements and also helped me out with hydro peroxide and taking it the food grade and how to do and how to bubble and how to take that. That's another thing that you can do to oxygize your body. Also the ozone water, which I'm going to tell you about, that you can take and also heals your body for certain people. Like I said, all this is not going to help everybody, but it'll help. Having your body alkaline is going to get rid of an acidic body. Our body is acidic and becomes acidic by the food we eat, our environment, our actions that we take, and the things that we surround ourselves with. So we're also affected emotionally. That's why I said you need to go to a psychologist, a counselor, a caseworker. I guess I don't even know if they're called a caseworker, or support group for chronic pain or whatever you have, because they will help you with that. So look them up. They're in the phone book. I don't know anybody out here per se, or go to pastoral counseling and talk to them and see if they can form a group and help you form a group. Or you yourself being bold enough, if you are, set up your own meetups. Go on meetup.com and set up a meetup about chronic pain and some alternative, and have guest speakers come in and help you if that's what you really want, and y'all come up with some solutions. Or have a meetup where somebody's coming in and doing Tai Chi just for your group, where you are actually getting this done. So these are some ideas to help you out. Like if you want to get out, do some yoga. You know, different forms of yoga helps the body relax and stretch and relieve pain. That's another form. Pilates is another form. What else? Exercising, just movement actually helps you move. But when you're in constant pain, you're thinking, you know what, I'm in pain, so I don't really know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't know what to do or how to go about this pain. So these are the things that I have for you. Herbs, aromatherapy, crystal therapy, foods that you eat, a combination of different foods that you can and put in your body, like putting in ginger, putting in lemon, putting in turmeric, putting in cumin, putting in cayenne pepper. These are all things that are warming and distribute and help circulation, because when you're in pain, the body is not circulating. It's like in one spot, and that's where the pain is. But when you get the blood functioning and it helps the body, it stimulates. So these are some things that I would do. Introduce kava. They've got chocolate kava bars from Hawaii. I make kava balls as well. So if you want to do that, you know, you can contact me on www.chefsess FOODALCHEMSIT.com. That's Chef Sissy Food Alchemist. Or you can find me on Etsy, where they will be labeled, and I make little balls. Now these are all the things that I make organic. um I'm looking at the time because I also have an appointment. They're all organic and they're sugar free, and they have been proven to work. I will be putting up more testimonies from different people. These are individuals that actually have seen and worked with and taken my product and actually work. So if you want a consultation or alchemy reading or something like that, you can always contact me. My number is 480-253-9407. But the best way is to reach me by my website and going on and seeing my services, filling out a form, and it'll come to me by my email, because you always got to put a subject head, because if I get any kind of like blank nose thing, I erase it so you don't exist. So I'm being upfront. If you do not have a subject head and it doesn't mean anything, I erase it. That's not being arrogant. It's just that there's a lot of spam out here and mail, and I don't trust things. So, especially with the computer and the way viruses spreads and eat up things. So this is your favorite food alchemist. I hope that I was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, you can always go to my website, www.chefsessfoodalchemist.com. That is Chef Sessy Food Alchemist. Or you can give me a call. And if I or my associate do not answer, leave a message and someone will get back to you and tell you the best time. So I want you to have a wonderful day. Love, light, life, longevity, vitality, and as I always say, much prosperity to everyone. Your favorite food alchemist is signing off.